As soon as the camera starts rolling, you just go weird. Okay.
No, I'm just normal. This is how I normally am.
Okay.
Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm joined by a special guest. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. Okay, so today I'm joined by a special guest. This is Morgan, my husband.
Hello.
He's been on my channel before. So in today's video, we're going to be doing an interracial couples
We've got questions
video.
we pulled off the internet.
Exactly. So we haven't looked at the questions at all. Let's just jump right into the questions.
So the first couple. How does your family feel about your partner's race? Nobody has ever said anything at all, one way or the other. Mm-hmm. Nobody's ever said, "Oh, that's great. You're dating a black or marrying a black woman," and nobody's ever said that. Nobody's ever said, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're marrying a black woman." It's just I've told you many times, just ignore any difference. It's sort of how we're, how we are. Like we talked about this with if somebody's handicapped, we just treat them exactly the same as if they're completely able-bodied, or somebody's super tall or super short or whatever. Just treat everybody the same all the time. So in my family, nobody's ever commented at all. In
my family, we are the opposite of Morgan's family, so we definitely talk more about those types of things.
Yeah, my family doesn't talk about anything anyway, so...
Exactly.
Not just this, but yes.
Anything.
Yeah, your family is much more in touch with each other.
Yeah, so, but I'm trying to think in terms of the race thing specifically. I mean, jokes sometimes get flung around, but it's mostly about us moving to Dundas.
Mm.
So because the place where we live is a predominantly white community, and so I know me and my family always talk about, oh yeah, now I don't.
Do you talk about it or you joke about it?
We joke about it. It's more like jokes. So in terms of let's say everyone in our sort of community does hiking and stuff like that. So fashion is not necessarily top of mind, and plus it's an elderly community too, so sometimes I'll joke that, oh no, since I live in Dundas now, I don't wear cool clothes kind of thing, or they'll say, oh, just because you live in Dundas you think you don't need to change those shoes, those crusty shoes kind of thing.
Right, you joke to me about hey, I live with a bunch of white people, I can go to the store in my pajamas, or something like that.
People think it's normal. Yeah. So basically not specifically about race. I don't think anyone has. Even
when we got married, nobody said anything. Nobody gave you a high five. Nobody gave you a hard time.
No, not that I can. Nothing comes to mind. I'm sure maybe my extended family might have comments but being Zimbabwean, I don't think it's the same as African American. Anyway, but all this to say, nobody has, to my face, talked about race specifically.
Right.
I have predominantly dated white men prior to you, so then I didn't necessarily have any thoughts of what are the habits of a white person or something. I didn't have that as a coming into it. It was just that was the people that I knew what their habits are. So I wasn't necessarily worried about it, but in terms of getting married, we knew pretty early that we're going to be serious.
Yeah.
More than most people, I think, pretty early compared to what the average time span is.
I think I proposed 4 months after we dated or something. After we started dating or something.
Yeah, and so I think because when we knew that we're actually going to be serious and this is real and stuff, my concern was really around if we ever have kids, how does our worldview impact raising a child? So as a black person, I have a specific experience living even in Canada, and so how understanding of that experience would you be was definitely, and I mean it still is a thing that we talk about quite a lot. So I think, the minute I knew that we're gonna get married and stuff, I kind of started thinking about, okay, what does that mean? Or how could that interact with our raising of a child if we got that opportunity? But other than...
Which we do, he's sleeping in the other room.
Yeah, we have a limited time to get this video done. But other than that, I think I didn't think of any sort of day-to-day, what do the white people do? Or something. I didn't have that as a thing.
Yeah, I'm not forward think like I'm not a warrior. I'm not I just went along with it.
Definitely not.
And yeah, before I'd never dated anybody that wasn't white before I met you, so I didn't have any experience with anybody Asian, anybody black, anybody anything. It's not by choice. It's just where I grew up. And the only thing I can think of, and I'm glad you brought this up with our son. The only experience I have with, not the only, but the one that sticks out the most with interracial kids is a guy I used to work with. He's black, his wife is white, and he said his daughter had a really tough time. She didn't identify, she didn't fit in with
she didn't belong anymore.
Didn't belong,
like she belonged,
exactly. So that's the one that I sort of my only starting point coming in for Beau, and that's to be determined, right? Like he's a year and a half, so we'll see how he identifies himself, how he fits in, how he tries to fit in, how he doesn't fit in.
Yeah.
All that's to be determined. For the most part, I don't see it day to day. I know, like to the point where it bothers you that I don't see it. You'll talk to me about something, and like it's not that. It's they're just whatever. So we've had those discussions, but that's in the relationship. That's not coming into the relationship.
And so, like, what about stuff like the classic, oh, I wonder what her bonnet situation is like?
Oh, there's all kinds of, there's all kinds of...
Did you think about that beforehand? Or, like, did you...
I didn't even know there was a bonnet.
Oh, did you even know there was a bonnet? Right, yeah, I remember, okay.
There's all kinds of...
Or maybe there's a question about that.
There's a learning curve to as a white man dating, being in a relationship with a black woman. The amount of skin care, hair care, and mostly those two.
Yeah, just those two. Really. And for the record, in terms of black or white or whatever, I think just women in general have a lot of, generally, women have these sort of like routines that we do for beauty and stuff like that. So at least I don't have, or for the most part, like the makeup thing, I'm not really a makeup person, but it would have been multi-layered because already especially at the time that I met Morgan, I obviously didn't have microlocks, so I was doing my hair all the time,
and changing it.
All the time.
That was the first, like between our first and second date. Our first date you had long hair, and the second date you had short hair, and I'm like, or maybe the other way around. The first date you had short hair, and whatever it was, I'm just like,
what happened?
What? Because we've talked about this that you said, like for black people, for black women. If wearing a wig is like wearing a hat. Like everybody
it's not
knows
a big deal. Not.
Yeah, and I'm used to, if you're wearing a wig, it's meant to look like that's your hair.
Yeah.
And so when it just changes
tomorrow,
one day you have short hair, the next day you have long hair. I'm like, well, that hair doesn't grow that fast. So what's happening?
Yeah.
So that was a learning curve. Might be easier. I don't think it certainly wouldn't be better, but it'd probably be easier.
How so?
Just not having to figure things out. Like I already know. Like I have a mom and sisters, so I know. What and nobody wears a bonnet, and nobody, so maybe it would be easier, but I don't think it would be better. I don't think it would be more interesting. I don't think it would be happier. I don't think that's not to say dating outside of it's all about you. It's not about you being a black person. It's about being you, and I couldn't imagine being happier with anybody else. But it could be easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get it. Like, I think with me, I don't know whether it's the race thing, but it's certainly a culture thing. So would it be easier to date someone who shares my worldview? But the reality is I don't necessarily know who that is. Like, because let's say, would it be easier to date a Zimbabwean? Probably not. I think it would actually be harder for me to date a Zimbabwean.
How come?
Just because I didn't grow up there, and so culturally I'm not necessarily the things that are expected to everyone knows that this is what you're supposed to do, or this is how it goes, or this is whatever. I didn't grow up with that, so I think I would definitely have a
expectation that you wouldn't be living into.
I wouldn't be able to live up to that expectation, or certainly to be stressful.
Okay,
and
so
probably
what about a non-Zimbabwean African guy?
I think to be easier to date, so like let's say a Kenyan guy.
Yeah.
probably might be easier, but then the thing is, it's likely that they have a cultural lens
Yeah.
that I don't have. So maybe, I don't know, women are supposed to do it, like, I don't know, or there's certain expectations within their culture. So I'm kind of like a cultureless person in some regard. Like
Or multicultural.
multicultural.
But you're not tied down to one culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think because of that, it would likely be difficult or the same. I don't know.
Okay, so what about a generic Black Canadian guy, like, you know, born and raised in Canada?
I think maybe that would be potentially easier.
Yeah.
Just from the angle of the racial piece. So the racial piece, I don't spend all of my days sort of thinking about race, but then the world that we live in, like I never thought about race growing up. Like it wasn't a concept. It's a very North American thing, yeah. So, or for at least in my experience, it wasn't something that I grew up thinking, oh my God, is a Black woman or something, or Black girl, never. Now that we live here in Canada, I feel like if I was dating a Black Canadian guy, I guess the benefit would be that I don't have to explain why a certain experience I may have at the hospital. Like, let's say when Bo is sick and then I'm saying, I don't know why the doctor was asking me, what do you do? What did that, like, why, like the fact that I have to explain to you why that's a racially toned experience. With a Black guy, I wouldn't necessarily I wouldn't have that burden of like,
know.
Yeah, he would just know. Like he would just like that was crap, right? Like that sucks. But I think a white guy who grew up with an interracial sort of experience would likely know that too. So like a white guy who grew up in Toronto, who went to school in a place like Toronto, which is super multicultural and whatever, they know about race. You know, like my friends from Toronto, they're pretty like, yep, they would likely be, they're Meg, we have a friend. And so they would likely know that, yeah, there's some racial undertones there and stuff like that. So all this to say, I don't know that race specifically is the issue. I think it's more like culture and that sort of thing. But I'm worried, not bullied by peers necessarily. Like I'm more worried about the adults in the situation. So if you just wanted to come in your own time, that's okay. Yeah, so I'm not worried about him being bullied by his peers. For starters, I worry that he might be the bully. I mean, no parent ever thinks that their child will be a bully, but before having kids, I always thought those kids have parents too, so how come no one thinks, anyway. But I'm more worried about the adults, like the teachers and the people around him, and how they will treat him, right? Like differently, what if they feel like he's not like every other kid or something. So yeah, so I think that's my, like the race thing, and again, it's not an unfounded thing, it's based off of like numbers don't lie, that like if a white kid, like our kid, so Bo is very, he seems extroverted, and you know, definitely the boy energy is strong. So like let's say if Bo, I don't know, did some prank in the neighborhood where he throws toilet paper in a tree,
him and five other
kids, like I worry that, like, let's say the police will be called and then Bo gets to be, you know, it becomes a criminal, because it can be labeled as a criminal offense to,
they just put it in the
to
worst
vandalize. They'll say it's vandalism, and versus like a white kid, it's like, those
boys
little boys. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's my worry, but.
I don't worry. Like I said, that my biggest worry would be that he doesn't feel really white and doesn't feel really Black and doesn't feel like he has a tribe. Right. I get what you're saying about the stats, but I you know, never having lived it myself, like it'll be fine. But I hope to not be wrong about that, but I certainly could be. No, certainly not. Tina's the first non-white person I've ever had a relationship with. So, no. But as they say, once you go Black, you never go back. So.
Okay. Even though I think if you'd ask my friends, they'll probably say I date white guys only, but that's not the case. Like, I have dated other people aside from white people, but I've mostly dated white people. I think generally I find that I've dated people who just have the same vibe as I do.
Nobody has the same vibe as you do, but close.
Well,
you are a unique individual in the best way.
I guess I just mean like, yeah, it's based on jokes usually, like just, there's someone you just click with and stuff. So, but yeah, no, I don't necessarily only date one group of people.
Right. Do you get frustrated not being able to express yourself in your own language? No.
English is like, even though it's not my language, but it's my language. Like, that's the language I dream in and think in.
There's not a time that I don't understand what you're saying. Like, you're explaining something and like not language wise, but like experience wise.
Oh, metaphorical language?
Yeah, that you're like, when you talked about the home sense, the girl wanted to see a receipt. I was like, that's nothing like that.
Yeah, okay, language, yes. Like, I'll try and say, hey, can you hear what I mean by this? Can you see how this could be, racist? Or could you see how this might be this? And then if you can't understand or see that, yes, it's frustrating.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
You just had a bad day.
Yeah.
I ask everybody.
Yeah. So that's definitely been frustrating. He's fallen asleep.
He just woke up from his nap to come out here
And snuzzle.
and snuzzle with Mama and then fall asleep.
Yeah, it's okay.
There are worse things. Worse ways to spend a Sunday.
I know.
Are there any?
And vice versa. Like, what about you?
No, you understand everything. Like, there's nothing, yeah.
I mean, a handful of times I've felt like people are looking at us, but I think they're just like, damn, that's a cute couple. No, I'm kidding.
I think, how did he land her?
Yeah, right. I mean, there are times when we've gone out and then people are just staring, but like Morgan is 6'4", and then I think because I'm black, like both of us stand out in different contexts for different reasons. So I don't know that it's like
Right.
I don't know that it's a
blend
racially
in.
charged
We don't just
thing.
blend in wherever we go.
Yeah,
Right,
we definitely stand out one way or the other.
Right.
Oh yeah.
How did you two meet?
How did you two meet? Gonna tell the story?
Yeah, OkCupid. It was
Online dating.
Yeah, my sister said, you got to get in the game, and she came, took some pictures, and had me dress up and stuff, and then this is a good one. So I was taking a cooking class at George Brown College, and so with the goal being that I would eat better instead of just as a single guy just get takeout a lot and just eat not very well. So I'm like, I'm going to take a cooking class so I learn how to cook and I eat better. So that cooking class was a pretty good icebreaker on my dating profile.
Right.
That got you.
Right. I was like, he cooks.
So the old bait and switch. So now I do eat better because Tina cooks all the time, but she thought she was getting a guy who cooks, and no.
And then after that, he also, on our first date, decided to, because he got his suits tailor-made and stuff, like he gets, I don't know, this custom suits or whatever.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing that a guy comes over and takes all your measurements, and then they go to, in this case, Thailand or Vietnam, I think Thailand, and make the suit. Then they send you one that you like try it on and like, half an inch here or too little much there or whatever, and then you send that back, and then they send you the rest of the suits after. So I had just got the suit like the day or two before, so I wore the suit on our first date, and like, hey, can you help me? Like, what do you think of the suit? Can I, should it be a little longer here, a little better fit there, and that, I guess everybody, girls go crazy for a sharp dressed man.
But yeah.
And now I just wear track
yeah,
pants.
exactly. I got
bait and switch.
But anyway, yeah. So we met online, and
why were you on OkCupid?
I just wanted to date someone, but then I wasn't really serious about meeting someone.
Because if you were serious.
If I was really serious, I'd go on eharmony.com. But anyway, that's what I told him. That's why he keeps bringing it up, because I was like, I'm not.
He keeps joking.
I don't really
serious about
I
finding
wasn't
somebody.
serious about finding someone. If I really was serious, then I would be on eHarmony.
Ooh, here's a good one. What's your favorite part of your partner's culture?
Okay, I'll go first. No, I don't. I can't think of. Can you think of something?
I mean, the food, but I feel like that's a Tina thing, not a black thing.
Yeah, I'm just a bomb.
You are.
Cook.
You
Thank
are.
you.
So that's the first thing. The what's the word I'm looking for? The happiness or the joie de vivre, the you know, like just, you know, optimism. I don't know what the term is.
I think in our culture, yeah, food is, regardless of whether people know how to cook or not, I think food is more common in our culture than it is in your, like it's more of a thing that binds people. Like it's like a key part of activities. Food versus like
vegetable platters at
versus
parties.
vegetable platters at parties. Okay, so my favorite thing about your culture is temperature. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, no, my favorite thing about your culture, this is for real, is like the little traditions, like, so that we also get to make our own. Not necessarily that everyone does this in Canada or certainly in white Canadian culture, but like the tree cutting at Christmas is
That's
nice.
fun, eh?
Yeah, or like even as much as I don't want Bo to start skating right now, I think it's I like that skating, like it's cool that like you get to I don't know, they start early ice skating, and I mean of course we have all versions of things, but
Sure.
I think ice skating is so Canadian
Right.
to me, and so yeah, like so those types of rituals I really like. Tree cutting for sure is or a pumpkin carving at Halloween. You know, like
Snowman building.
snowman building.
You've never made a
I've
snowman.
never made a snowman before, but yeah, that kind of stuff, like the stuff you kind of see on TV as little, I don't know, shows or whatever, is actually real. Our kid has a cold, so in case the snoring is loud enough. But yeah, that kind of stuff I like.
You speak insert partner's language. Yes. I speak Shona. Mangwanani. Imbizi. Kweshamazino.
What more do you want?
What more do you want?
Muscanzo is Costanza.
Costanza. Sandy Rumi.
Usandi Rume.
Chug Donut.
Uchadona.
Yeah, so I speak Shona.
Equal, same.
Same. I mean, the obvious one is the self-care routine, the bonnets, the protective styles, the
moisture.
lay edges, the moisture, the balms and oils and butters and lotions and creams. And they're all different. They're not the same thing.
It's not the same thing.
Yeah, don't think that a butter and a balm is the same thing. And I had another one. Oh, about how black is not monolithic, but specific to you, how you perceive yourself within black culture, like North American black versus African black versus
Right.
Caribbean black.
Yeah.
How you navigate that. Yeah, you've had different things that you brought up, and like, wow, I've never, I don't have the same reference. Like I look at, like, being Canadian, we get dominated by American culture, but I don't feel like American culture I'm supposed to relate to. Like, oh, that represents me too. I'm like, no, that's American. Whereas things have come up like, yeah, that's African American. That's not me.
Yeah.
But for the rest of the world, not
It's
the rest
black,
of the world, but
but
for the
just
rest of
generally.
Canada,
Like black
that's
people,
a black
black
person.
people. Yeah, and I mean it's a new sort of like the whole black thing, for sure, is for the first half of my life I wasn't thinking about race. Not
when
that
you lived in Africa.
Yeah, when I lived in Africa, not because I didn't see color, but because I went to an international school, and all the schools I went to in Africa were international schools, meaning most kids were kids of expats, which means just inherently there are different cultures and different races of people there. So it's not that I didn't see color, it's that it was never a thing that was used or that I had seen being used as a, or these people are the haves, these people are the have-nots because of their color. There were other factors that went into who are the haves and the have-nots, but it wasn't because of skin color. From my, experience, where it's like a kid, a 10-year-old in North America, like has these sophisticated concepts of race at that age, which I was not at all thinking about. Like, it wasn't a reality of mine, just because, it's a different place and everything. But yeah, but even I'm learning just the diversity of the Black experience. Like, I wish that was talked about more than just being like, oh, Black people experience this and stuff like that. I wish.
But you do really want to go with a bunch of Black girls to Essence Fest.
Of course, Black people love Beyonce. Black people love. I get
But you
it.
check those boxes.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to say, I think being Black, yes, there are lots of shared experiences. Even I joke about how, like, I find it funny how, like, when I watch these African American TikToks or whatever, and they're like, oh, when your mom gives you the eye. So as an African person, I know exactly what that means, even though I'm not African American. So somehow this one thing is like
or pan-Black.
Yeah, like all Black peoples across the universe know what the eye is, kind of thing. We have a lot of things in common as Black peoples, both physically, obviously because of our skin, our phenotypes situation. Like, we look, we're Black. People see us as Black because we look Black, just like white people look white. So that's a visual thing. I'm hoping that the world evolves out of just the binary thinking, because it isn't binary. Obviously, as as we know. But yeah, so in terms of things that surprised me, not necessarily about dating a white person, but I think marrying into a white family, I wasn't necessarily surprised. This is for better or worse, but like the concept of like family, how different it is for us. So like for our culture, say being Zimbabwean, family is incestuously involved. Like, it's just, there's nothing you're doing without family. They're everywhere. They're there all the time. They're in your face. They suffocate you.
But they're there to help.
But they're there to help. Like, meaning like
the good and the bad.
Good and the bad. Like, it's just a part of your family completely. Whoa.
I'm surprised you can breathe.
Versus like in the I think this is not only just your family, but I think it's more likely that the white Canadian experience seems to be, or at least it seems to be.
I think like our family is more like, not I would say extreme, but certainly on the spectrum, more individualistic. Like, most of my family I don't talk to with any regularity. Yeah. Whereas you talk to your mom, your brother, your cousins, your aunts.
Yeah, regularly. Yeah. Yeah. So I think that surprised me a lot. And Morgan's mom passed away, I don't know, 20 years ago now or something. And so I think maybe if she was around,
for sure, that
would be different. And but because she isn't, I think that also exacerbates the distance that it seems like, there's a personal space thing. Whereas like in my culture, personal who? You know what I mean? Your space is my space. Yeah. And it's like, no, but so that was I kind of knew about that coming in, but I didn't expect it to be actually like that. But yeah, one of the cool things that has been fun to be married to someone who's not my race, and certainly is a white person, is just watching, or a white person who has never necessarily dated a Black woman before, was for sure the whole hair thing. Like, it was so funny just like watching you being like, okay, so what are you doing now? Like, so,
I'm laying my edges.
Yeah, or like sometimes a strand of my hair would, I don't know, be in the tub or something.
Oh, this one, yeah.
And then he takes the strand of hair, because my hair is coily.
It's like a little tiny, like
a coil,
like not even the size of a pea.
Yeah, it's super tiny. Yeah, super tiny, little, like the size of a lentil or something.
Measured in millimeters.
Yeah, and then he would always be like, look, and then he stretches it out, and then it's like, so just those types of things have been kind of it's a different story for
Yeah, one of the big ones for me is like there was one kid growing up, Terry, who was black in my school, and going swimming, it just looked like his hair didn't get wet. But it's the exact opposite, that it just gets wet and like it's so thick it takes forever to dry. That was a learning thing for me.
Yeah, that was, and then the moisturizing thing. I never thought about how much I moisturize until I met you.
It's a lot.
It's not a lot. It's just basic, guys. But it's just...
It's head to toe.
Yeah.
It's 360 degrees.
Yeah. But yeah, I never thought about stuff like that before. It was just like, yeah, everyone does this.
I don't think I've ever seen you not
moisturize. Yeah.
Like to the point where like if you get out of the shower and Bo's demanding, you're like, whoa, how do I do it? Because you have to get it on while your skin is still wet or something like that. You can't just wait 20 minutes and moisturize. That's no...
I mean, you can, but it's not ideal, right? Like, you want to moisturize when your skin is, ready to receive the moisture. But yeah, I know this video was all over the place. I don't know how I'm going to edit this, like, to make it make sense, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you are in a interracial couple yourself, I don't know.
Love to hear your comments below. Just
like what your experiences are like.
And if you're thinking about being in a relationship with a couple, I'd love to ask away.
Yeah, ask us any questions.
That we didn't bring up.
Yeah, we're happy, and
I mean, I guess it's definitely a selection thing. Like if an interracial couple that wasn't happy wouldn't do a YouTube video.
Right. Exactly.
But I couldn't imagine being happier with anybody else.
Yeah, and I think for us it's not even a racial thing. I know Morgan touched on this before, but I think, I don't know, we have a good sense of humor, and like we enjoy being around each other. Yeah,
we got married the end of 2019, so just before the pandemic hit, and I've said to Tina many times, I couldn't imagine going through like lockdown without her. The two of us were in a small one bedroom condo, and you'd think we'd be on top of each other all the time, but it was I couldn't imagine not having you there.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, exactly. So we enjoy each other's company, and we joke around quite a bit. So and I think and we have a cute little kid as a bonus. But
jokes.
So weird. I'm not gonna put that in. No.
That has to stay.
But yeah, so of course the idea that like our relationship is centered around our racial stuff, it's not. Like I think it's just more. Yeah, it's just one of the one dimension of our relationship.
But hardly defined.
But yeah. Anyways, so on that note, we will end this very long video now. Thank you so much for watching, and if you'd like us to do any other type of video together, let us know what that would be.
Or keep that guy out of the video, we just want to see you.
No.
Let us know that too, so...
No, don't say that. Don't come after my man. No.
I'm not a YouTuber. I'm married to a YouTuber, so I won't be offended.
But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.